Hi, it's Bob Zimmer, Member of Parliament. Check out this video from Fisheries and Oceans Committee where we ask fishing experts about how DFO completely disregards science. Check it out. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and my questions will be to Mr. Boss. You've worked on countless projects to bring back viable salmon habitat and increase salmon abundance on Vancouver Island. The Souk River has benefited from your enhancement efforts to increase the natural spawning population. You have worked cooperatively with First Nations, local businesses, and the angling community to make positive change for our salmon populations. Yet we hear that rather than DFO assisting your efforts, we've seen senior management seemingly only to get in the way. How does DFO actually assist you in your organization's efforts to help increase salmon populations?
Thank you for the question, Mr. Zimmer. There are two parts to the answer to your question. The first part is that I have an extremely good working relationship with the ground level staff that work on permitting, that work on production of the fish in the hatchery, and the coordination of deliveries, et cetera, et cetera. The project that we refer to is all paid for privately, and we do pay the department for the work they're doing, but the level of help and support is great there. The second part to my answer is the fact that there are opportunities far beyond the one pilot project in the Souk Basin. And we've already identified one where we have First Nations and all stakeholders willing to work together and funding potentially in-house. And we've seemed to be hit a roadblock with the department not wanting to work forward with it and trying to divide the First Nation and collaboration of stakeholders together and implying that they won't move forward with the project. It seems strange to me that we have a successful project in one location when it is eminently scalable and can move to other sites, and it's not supported by the department. It doesn't make any sense to me.
So I don't know if I heard you correctly, Mr. Boss. We've actually seen an increase in DFO's budget over the last 6 years by 42.3%. Does DFO actually fund your work?
The project in Souk is 100% funded by private money. We actually pay the department for services related to delivery, raising of fish, covering of electrical costs, covering off of staff to ensure that the project meets its demands. And we would like to see an opportunity to go further, things like marking of the fish and further coded wire tags, increasing the number of fish, and we're actually being stymied with those opportunities too.
Into my next question, how could they better help in the future? And you've alluded to that, but maybe explain a little bit more.
Well, the beautiful thing about the Souk project, it's like a blank canvas. It has great opportunity. It's proving itself to be a suitable for strategic enhancement where you get a higher rate of survival rather than simply releasing fish into a river. You get a much better return on your investment for raising them and penning them for a short period of time at the estuary. That is what we would like to do in greater number in the Souk Basin, but also we would like to see opportunities scaling that in other locations that have already been identified, often locations where historic projects like this were in place that were closed down by the department for no apparent reason. And it seems strange that you have a successful project going on one place and it's not being looked at in other places. It appears to be a policy change or biased against the project in the management of the department.
Thank you. We see DFO use the excuse that the salmon fishery needs to be closed to feed southern resident killer whales as a tool to close key fishing areas. Is this true?
Essentially, and I have a fairly good understanding of this because we were closed from a part of the Juan de Fuca Strait for 2 years as an appeasement to people that wanted to see large areas closed to fishing during the time when the southern resident killer whales were there. And recent studies have shown that there's virtually no foraging activity at all in that. So the department has now reversed course and opened that up again. And it seems that there isn't science to support some of the actions, but there's incredible pressure to close areas. And I personally believe that the recreational fishing community has virtually no impact whatsoever on the health and well-being of the southern resident killer whales. And I cite an example that between the 1970s and the 1990s, the department own figures show that the fishing community, the public fishery for salmon was at its peak, and the largest effort was taking place. At the same time, during the 20 years, the population of the southern resident killer whales went from 70 animals to 98, I believe. And that is an indication that if you've got more activity on the water from recreational fishing, and a growth over that same 20-year period of southern resident killer whales, it kind of shows that the recreational fishery isn't really the cause of the current decline.
So